Mayday, mayday, prices of PulseChain. Baby dolls, we're going to go through some more updates as to what's going on. The SEC is coming after Ricardo Corazon for some allegations, and their paper is full of holes. There are lies, false statements. They're probably doing it to send a message. But if you look at this chart, this is the 1 minute chart. We dropped 60% instantly. But if I go back and I zoom out, if I put on a little daily chart, you just get to see where we are right now. You know, if we are able to recover back to, this is the PulseChain chart, PLS by the way, if the market just gets back to this 0.0001, the day one sacrifice, and it just continues as is, this will truly be a repeat of the zombie virus chart for Bitcoin. I'm going to show it to you right now. So this is it. This is the zombie virus for Bitcoin. If you look on the far right side, you can see this. I want to show you an appreciation of just what happened. We had a big level here formed over multiple months, and we just cracked right through. And this is the 6-hour chart, by the way. So we went forward, we grinded around, we screwed around, and then we literally never looked back. All right. Now, of course, what are people going to say? They're going to say that was different because that had money printing. That was just different circumstances. But you know what I've found? You go back to any chart, you don't even need to know the news. They somehow repeat these fractals of human behavior. Okay, it's not about the news itself. It's about there is some sort of black swan, unforeseen event, and then the market recovers, and you realize that all these moves coming down, this big part down here, was just people paying enormous slippage. On the blockchain, you can see there are heaps of big fat loss takers. One of the community members bought like $1 million yesterday. I don't even know what's going on. I heard like, oh, maybe he sold. Other people sold. Look, when it comes to these, they're paying huge slippage to get out, and the liquidity is super thin. You got to think about the market prices in the future. So yeah, the news is here, but is the community going to say, well, we're going to be weaker in 6 months. We're going to be weaker in 12 months. You know, you can say that, and that's okay because it's just a thesis. But at the end of the day, I don't think it will. And I can show you why. So for example, Hex Telegram, everyone coming in, everyone joining, which is funny. Now, of course, you can play devil's advocate and say, you know, a lot of people will come and look at a car crash as well. Doesn't mean they're going to stay. So I'm going to monitor this. I've seen a lot of people wake up. I've seen this advertising and marketing. Like, you got to remember now, all the eyeballs of the entire crypto industry is now on Hex, PulseX, Pulse, this ecosystem. That's why, man, when everybody's watching, you have a lot of leverage if you recover back these prices. A lot. Because all those people who are basically telling you to get out down here, this is effectively what they're doing. They come back to start licking their wounds, right? And this is actually what induces FOMO. So the biggest moves on the upside come because of aggressive moves on the downside like this. That's what actually happens. It's an elastic band. You swung it down too far, it can't go to zero, and then you eventually overshoot up. Now, don't follow my exact arrows. I don't know what comes next, of course, friends, but no one's leaving. I haven't seen a single person say, think about this, right? Go on Twitter, go on YouTube. Have you heard people say, well, I'm going to go join the ecosystem. I'm in PulseChain. I'm going to go join Matic. I'm going to go join Solana. I'm going to go join XRP. No one is saying this at all. In fact, everybody's just firing up. This is how you know. Now, obviously, please don't hold anyone's feet to the fire because new information can come out in these sensitive times. But it just, something doesn't scream death to me. You know what death looks like, friends. I mean, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, bell button, all. I made the videos. It's catastrophic on Phantom, okay? Phantom have a dire situation, friends. Phantom, what's happening around there, it really is a graveyard. This doesn't seem like a graveyard. This seems like a wrestling match. And like, you know, two guys have come in from behind. You know what I mean? The referee's not looking. This is what it seems like. It seems like there's a battle going on. It doesn't seem like we're on the floor. I'm just trying to read the information here from what I say just to convey it here to you. So there are some people as well who've read the case. A lot of people read the case, and it's full of holes. So shout out to my friend Benny, okay? So Benny Boy, he said the SEC case looks pretty poop. So they're basically in this, just to read it for you. He said that to bring a case into a country or region, you have to show the link between the place and the defendant. So basically what they're saying is, they're saying this case needs to go in New York because Hex is on Uniswap and the developers of Uniswap are registered in New York. So they're basically implying someone from the Hex team could own, from Uniswap could own one of the coins, and therefore, oh, you've got a New York citizen here. So they're just throwing everything here. A lot of it doesn't make sense, friends. It feels like there's just a lot of people coming here with Dingleberry cases, and there's nothing here. Nobody is looking at this saying, oh wow, I'm so shocked. It's basically just the SEC throwing these words on paper, trying to make something out of nothing. So I also have, this is a good exercise to do. I know no one wants to do exercises because, like, you see the war and the bombs going out right now. But if you just keep your posture straight, keep your ears perked for this one. I'm just going to tell you right now. Firstly, let's look at the prices of Hex, Pulse, and PulseX, okay? Just look at them. We're just looking at the prices. You see them here. You see Pulse, okay? We're going to have a look at PulseX as well, okay? You're having a look. You also have Hex, okay? Now, looking at this, I'll change to like a 3-day. Look at this, friends. I mean, when you put on a bigger time frame, look at this. This is the Hex chart, by the way. This is the crazy part. It was lower for no reason, just on like June 15th. Just think about this. For some reason, with the SEC coming, Hex isn't making new lows. It's almost like the weak hands are kind of gone, right? That's basically what it means. It was like the final flush out, the final puke out. So when I go back to my message, I just want to show you this. So you've had a look at these charts here, okay? Look at this. I'm just asking you this question. If you had no access to any news media, you couldn't even read English, would you see this opportunity to sell or buy and hold? Looking at these charts, right? So that's why I always tell you, man, look at these you can put these, friends, on a chart like this. Like, I know, look, this is crazy. Put on a linear chart. This is what it looks like. You know, it looks like this. Now, of course, we would want it to go green, but from the amount of damage, the collateral damage that we saw at the start, there's like a nuclear bomb. That's how it feel like it went off. This does not seem to be representation of it. You know why? What's happening is your mind, you're processing the information. You're digesting the news. You go, okay, this case is weird. There's a lot of like fake stuff in there. He's probably got a team of lawyers. They're making false claims as well. There's the PulseChain sacrifice treasury. It's still there. So a lot of these things as well. There's these people who just try to go after Ricardo Corazon himself, saying there's like tornado cash funds and all this other stuff going on. They can all be thrown out in court when you have a look at all this from another perspective. Okay, the community is strong. If you want to have something like this, you would not think that of 200,000 people, okay, 199,000 are supportive. You know what I mean? When it comes to a case like fraud, think about this. Who was defending Alex Mashinsky? This dude. Who was defending him, right? No one. What about Do Kwon? Okay, who was defending him? Like, when you're looking at all these, it's completely different perspectives. What about SBF? Okay, SBF. So no one's defending these people. It's completely different environment we're dealing with now. And also, just to follow up here, just to give you an example of the community is still here, friends. No one's leaving. So look at this. World Star update from Mr. Westcott Crypto. Shout out. Okay, so basically, okay, so they've done a follow-up and you got a response. So as everyone knows, we raised money as a community just to post the Hex movie on World Star itself. So as well, I've already warned you about this, about what's coming. People are going to put the price chart. They're going to put a price chart next to everything, but don't worry about that. What we're doing is you're planting a seed in everyone's mind for when the prices do recover. Okay, I know this is how most people think. We think linear terms. The average person thinks, okay, I'm going to do marketing and the green candle is going to come and I'm going to get out. It does not work like that, okay? Buyers come in slow. You basically just grab eyeballs to the project. That's what you're doing. You're paying for eyeballs for people to pay attention and to get familiar with the name. And then as you go up higher and higher in the future, you'll see a lot of those seeds that you planted. Now they're trees and you're sitting under their shade. What's also interesting, this is the PulseX Pulse Ratio. Now, I'll be honest. I thought, before looking at this, I thought this would be down here. I really thought, because I was like, man, all the weak hands are in PulseX. It's game over. Like, it's finished now. But it's still here. That's weird. They all moved in a ratio. It's very strange, okay? But it's not so strange, friends. The collective mindset of the crowd, it's not stupid. It knows what it's doing, okay? It's a beautiful, efficient pricing mechanism. The fact that it's still here, it tells me something. It tells me that the weakest of weak hands in PulseX, they're gone. This is their exit zone. They're gone now. They're gone. I was expecting this to go much lower. I thought, okay, you know, this thing's going to go to where it's going to go. The fact that it's holding here is very surprising. You know, it sends us a clue because DEXs in crypto get valued based off the users and the daily active volume. The rough numbers, okay? DEXs seem to be valued around that. PulseX is still around this price zone here, which means, I mean, relative to Pulse. So everyone from this selling off, I know everybody's erratic, but you can actually get madness. You can actually get, in the madness, you can actually get some logic in here. Because the price is still holding up, effectively the market's saying this is a knee jerk and the future volume is not actually going to be impacted. It shrugged it off completely. Because DEXs, as I just mentioned, right, if they're supposed to reflect the activity that it expects in the future and they expect like a super dire situation, this wouldn't be happening here. Especially on such a black swan like this. Like, zoop, just come back down and stay here. So it'd be interesting to see if this actually rounds off or where we go from here. Because, you know, I was more than expecting, right, with a high probability that it was just going to go down, flop down here, just from the way things are going. But it seems like there's been like a cathartic puke of basically the surgical patient just vomiting everything out. And, you know, maybe all the weak hands are gone from here. And, you know, friends, so I have the eHEX pHEX ratio here. So yesterday there was a guy. He had 100 million hex on Ethereum, eHEX. He bridged it over, and look what happened. He bridged it over, and then he panic dumped eHEX, and then he bought the top of pHEX on the ratio. Now, everybody thought it was a new paradigm, but look at this. Yesterday's bridger, he's already lost 35% of his hex stack, literally in 24 hours from this trade. So, yesterday, he bridged 100 million hex over, and then he FOMO bought. His ratio was 0.35. I mean, I can show you the ratio right now where he's panicked, where he paper hand dumped, right? And we can see on the chart, he got an effective price. Because of his slippage, he literally got lower than this chart. Lower than this chart because he paid enormous slippage. His real price actually is around here. So he paid 0.35. The eHEX pHEX ratio popped up to 0.52 momentarily. Look at that in the panic. It's now 0.47. So think about that, like he's 32% gone because of irrational movement. So I even have a picture here. So you can see these things, right? There's no glory in like saying, oh, this is the exact top, this is the exact bottom. It's not about that. The only reason I even go down on these time frames is to make it exciting for us to see. Really, I've mentioned this so many times. I know no one wants to hear it, but you have to hear it, friends. You have to hear it. Put on a weekly time frame. Okay, you literally put on a weekly time frame and you zoom into, you look to the right. Look where we are. Look where we are. You would not know this was SEC attack. Look at this. Have a look at these. These are weekly candles. It finished green. So just have a think about what the market says like that. So wait a minute. The SEC came, took it down. What did the market do? Okay, eHEX is stronger than pHEX. It's telling you something, okay? Don't read too much into the tea leaf. It's not telling you some like super code of the universe. It's just telling you, okay, maybe pHEX has a lot more weak hands relative to eHEX now. Okay, we've now shifted to the emergency scale. So people, when they want to sell stuff, they're selling the pHEX first. Okay, that's what happened as people did a cathartic puke. And also, look at this. Shout out to Mr. South Australian Hex Dude. Look at this. Andrew. Andy said, I did the opposite. So he literally did the opposite. And Shani Boo as well, saying, I bought more Hex, couldn't resist the fire sale. So, and also Justin as well. Shout out to Justin. Look at this. That's why I'm still contrarian, holding most eHEX. You see these, friends? These are the silent soldiers that sit here waiting patiently. This is the actual mind of the market. So you ever wonder how do things just happen and then we just move on? It's because most of us are actually this. We only watch with a spotlight, okay? We watch the people who come in to do these big moves. We're like, oh, crap, who did this big giant move? Look at this big candle. Oh, no, like that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing people at the margin. So that's what we're actually watching. But that's why if you look at this like just some growing organism, like basically a forest, you're like, well, the ecosystem is going to get stronger every 6 months or 12 months or 18 months. You're playing a different game than everybody else. It's literally a different game. Everyone else is playing this. Let's panic and let's do a round. Let's play Slippy. Just see what's going on. And they completely miss everything else. It's because they want to. They want to miss everything else. Some people they're not born to be winners. And I want to leave you with this bit of advanced thinking, friendship wisdom. Look at this. So HD said, a couple of months ago when Hex crashed, I predicted it would fall to 0.005, but I hoped it wouldn't. Unfortunately, that prediction came true today. it doesn't look good. So in the heat of the moment, yes. But I'm here, I'm showing you a reply, friends. So what you don't know is if you have a big target like that, that's where you get bullish. Because what happens is, okay, so let's bring up the chart here. Effectively, what it means is, so remember, the bottom here is eHEX, okay? Bottom here is eHEX, top is pHEX. If you can't see the right-hand side, what do weak hands want to see? If you're a weak hand, you want to see it go up, okay? That's what you want to see. But if you, in your mind, you believe strongly, like, you know what? I think there's one big, giant, fat puke coming that's just going to make everybody quit. What happens when that actually comes? Those weak hands are getting out, friends, and we saw them get out. They took minus 50% losses already. But you could see this coming. You're effectively what they call a genius. You could see a target nobody could even think of or dream of, and now it's come, okay? But the market doesn't stop printing here. Time's going to continue. Earth's going to keep spinning. The ecosystem's going to keep growing. People are still coming in. No one's leaving, okay? There's people taking losses and leaving. That's different. People still here building from the community members. There's still projects going to launch. All these things are going on. So now when you see from that perspective, you got to think, okay, from all my teachings, what have I told you? All my videos. Newbies price in things based off today. The newbies. What do the professionals do? The professionals price things based off the future. So you had this imaginary target in your head. You go, you know what? I think we're going to do one more big puke and it's just going to look really bad. Well, here it is. And then you go, okay, and then what? You know, and then what? You're going to go to sleep. You're going to wake up the next day. The sun's going to keep moving. People are going to keep growing. Everyone needs to keep buying fluffy slippers, drinking their orange juice with 3 ice cubes. So then you have to start thinking about, okay, what about the future? Do you think, okay, this will be the end, right? Because remember, even in your mind, this person, like, God bless him, was able to get this prediction right with the price forecast, but his mind did not say, I think we're going to go down there and it's going to be a fatal blow. Everyone's going to say, I've left the ecosystem. He didn't say that. But obviously, in the heat of the moment, it's very hard to think when you're looking at these. And that's why I mentioned here, you should be bullish. Friends, this is how professionals, this is how the game of speculation, this is how you play. You should be bullish. Okay. Well, like if you had units, okay, let's say you were plus 10 for good, minus 10 for bad, all right? That's the best good, plus 10, and the worst bad is minus 10. This SEC, you might say, is literally like a minus 9.5, okay? So you are buying a minus 9.5. Look how far it can go down. You can only go minus 0.05. Think about that, minus 0.5 down. But look what your upside is. Your upside is plus 9.5 to get to break even, and then plus 10 to get to the top. So effectively, this is what we're doing, friends. You are risking minus 0.5 for an upside of plus 19.5. That's basically a 40 to 1. You can put $1 in, not telling you to put any dollars in, okay? But I am. You put every dollar you put in, your downside to lose $1, but your upside's 40 from here. And think about it based off the news. The SEC news, like what other bad news can they put that changes the things here, changes the ecosystem, makes it go to zero? Okay? That's how you have to start thinking about these situations going forward. Of course, during these times of despair, it's very hard to think rationally, but hey, I've been in this game for 10, 12 years. I've seen just about every type of disgusting type of move, spreads blowing out, people capitulating, sort of funds take billion-dollar losses, and we're going to keep continuing to see them, friends. This is the mind of the market, okay? So now that we've heard that the weak hands are out, if we price in the future, which includes growth and optimism, you are at an advantage point compared to the quitters. So this is how you have to look at this situation. Do you see it as a time to quit and leave, or do you see it as cheap? For me, I think it's still cheap, friends. I've checked Discords. The biggest soy boy virgins and the copers, I've seen them on Telegram, Discord, I'm getting tagged everywhere. I can see it. I actually read messages already. Like, these people, I don't want to say the words bottom signal, but man, it's so hard. If this was, I'm not joking. If this was any other coin and I saw these people, I'm like, man, you got to go really aggressive in. If these people, these copers with these avatars and profile pictures I'm seeing, it's something to think about. So if we were unbiased, if this was any other coin, you know exactly what you'd be doing. Like, subscribe, bell button on. Tell mum and dad we're going to keep our wits about us. Give them a big hug for me. Catch you in the next one.